Tech Weekly with Jake Brown. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 11 of Tech Weekly. Tech Weekly is a show that will happen every Friday night from 8 o'clock to 8:10 p.m. and I'll tell you the biggest tech news that has happened in the past week in under 15 minutes. So first up, CES, the world's largest tech conference, will be online only in 2021. The Consumer Electronics Show, CES, along the world's largest tech trade show, will be an all-digital in January 2021. The Consumer Technology Association, CTA, announced on Monday. The CTA cited the COVID-19 pandemic and concerns about the spread of the virus as its reasoning for canceling the in-person event. CES usually takes place in Las Vegas and involves many large gatherings in tightly packed convention halls as well as smaller meetings between retailers, manufacturers, and other industry professionals. Per the CTA, the digital CES will be a new immersive experience. They said the organization did not provide many details about what the online event will look like, but it does claim it will be highly personalized. The organization still plans to hold CES 2022 in Las Vegas. Next up, you can now boot a Windows 95 PC inside of Minecraft, as you can see on the screen up here. And inside of that, you can also play Doom on it. If you ever wanted to build a real and working Windows 95 PC in Minecraft, now is the time. A new VM Computers mod has been created for Minecraft that allows players to order computer parts from a satellite orbiting around Minecraft world and build a computer that actually boots Windows 95 and a variety of other operating systems. The mod uses VirtualBox, a free open source virtual machine software, to run the operating system like Windows 95. Within Minecraft, you'll simply place a PC case block that it uses to create virtual hard drives to install operating systems from ISO files. Naturally, the Minecraft community has been experimenting with the VM Computers mod, and someone has managed to get Doom running within Minecraft as a result. You could even play Minecraft on a PC within Minecraft, which is pretty cool. So, moving on from that, Google is bringing Windows apps to Chromebooks. Google is positioning this new Windows app support in Chrome OS as a big incentive for enterprises considering switching employees over to Chromebooks. Resellers will be able to bundle Parallels Desktop with Chromebook Enterprise devices, and IT administrators will be able to easily enable access to Parallels for Chromebooks that are enrolled with the Chrome Enterprise upgrade. A downside for Google, though, is that Microsoft is also working on their Windows 10 X, which increasingly looks more like a Chrome OS competitor that will run traditional desktop apps in a sandbox and focus on web apps and new UWP apps. While Windows 10 X was supposed to launch on dual-screen devices, Microsoft has now reprioritized the OS for laptops. Windows 10 X isn't supposed to arrive until 2021, which gives Google a head start if they can roll this new feature out soon. So this is pretty cool. macOS 8 is now an app you can download and install on macOS, Windows, and Linux. Slack developer Felix Reisberg, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, has transformed macOS 8 into an app you can install on your Mac or PC or Linux machine. After transforming Windows 95 into an app back in 2018, Reisberg decided to turn an entire 1991 Macintosh Quadra with macOS 8.1 into a single Electron app. It even includes a number of apps and games thanks to an old Macworld demo CD from 1997. The app can be installed on macOS, Windows, and Linux, as I said before, and the Macintosh.js app is written entirely in JavaScript and uses a virtual machine to emulate a Macintosh Quadra 900 with the Motorola CPU Apple used before its transition to IBM's PowerPC chips. Reisberg has managed to get classic games like Duke Nukem 3D, Civilization 2, Dungeons and Dragons, namely Oregon Trail, Alley 19 Bowling, and Damage Incorporated running on the virtual machine. There are even a bunch of apps and trials pre-installed, including Photoshop 3, Premiere 4, Illustrator 5.5, Stuff LT Expander, and Apple's web page construction kit. So now I'm going to give you a demo of that. Okay, so as you guys can see, I am now inside of the JavaScript app, and so this is what macOS 8 used to look like. So as you guys can see right here, we're in the welcome to Macintosh.js file. So it just tells you about him and the apps and games installed. So this was the X button up here, and this was the minimize and make smaller one up here. Now you were able to resize windows, which is pretty surprising. As you can see here, I can resize this. So now I'll exit out of this. So up here in the main Apple menu, this is what it used to look like. It kind of looked like Windows a bit, like the Windows Classic. And so you can open up any of these apps or games as well. So I guess we can try Oregon Trail. So let's see if I open that. As you can see, here we have Oregon Trail now opening. So I can do travel the trail. And it works, which is pretty cool. And you can go to the macOS Info Center, which will actually launch Microsoft's Internet Explorer, which is pretty cool. That's what they used to use. So here we are on the macOS Info Center. So that's pretty much it. You can install other users and stuff like that. But most of the stuff is kind of the same as we do have it now, although we don't really have a Finder. We don't really have a Finder, but that's pretty much it. This is what macOS 8 looked like, if anyone was wondering. So now we can transition back into some more exciting news. Jake Brown, the tech professor, just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And in addition to that, I also just launched my merch store, so it's ttpmerch.com. So make sure that you do go check that out. It will be linked down in the description. So we do have t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases, and even masks. Also coming soon, I will have YouTube memberships, hopefully. So make sure you join when those come out to get perks. We also do now have donations in the live chat. So right now you can donate money. We have the super chat enabled. So make sure that you do donate some money so that we can make some even cooler videos. Anyway, so now back to some other good tech news. Google and Apple's COVID-19 contact tracing apps are going to roll out in coming weeks in the U.S. Google said Friday that it's working with 20 U.S. states and territories on coronavirus contact tracing apps using the exposure and notification tools that it's built with Apple, and expects apps using tools to be able to use this in the coming weeks. In the announcement, Google said public health authorities have already used the Exposure Notification System, or ENS, to create apps in 16 countries and regions across Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, and South America. Using the co-developed tools, public health organizations can create their own contact tracing apps to help monitor and check the spread of COVID-19. Google said it expects that the initial rollout in the United States to approximately reach 45% of the U.S. Population. The tools created by Apple and Google will work using Bluetooth signals on iPhones and Android devices to detect when a person comes in close and prolonged contact with others. With the technology, public health officials can notify those who have been in contact with someone who's tested positive for the virus. The two companies released the first version of the contact tracing toolkit in May, and have steadily been updating the tools based on feedback from public health authorities and developers, they said, including privacy issues that the tracing app does bring up. So now for our favorite news, Apple news. Apple confirms that the new iPhones will not arrive in September. quoting from them, "Last year we started selling new iPhones in late September. This year we expect supply to be available in a few weeks later," said CFO of Apple Luca Maestri in an earnings call with investors yesterday. This isn't the first time that Apple has delayed shipping an iPhone. The iPhone 10 was announced alongside the iPhone 8 in September 2017, but it didn't arrive in stores until November due to production issues. Apple's iPhone XR was also announced in September 2018 and hit stores in October after reports suggested Apple was having issues with LCD display production. So next up, Amazon doubled its profit during the coronavirus pandemic. Amazon's CEO Jeff Bezos warned investors earlier this year that they might want to take a seat and prepare for a possible loss in quarter two, as the company planned to spend $4 billion, all of its expected quarter two operating profit, on COVID-19 related expenses. Amazon projected a potential loss of $1.5 billion in this quarter, but now with the end of quarter two behind us, Amazon shared its quarterly results, and they're quite the opposite of gloomy. Despite the pandemic, Amazon doubled its net profit year over year to $5.2 billion compared to $2.6 billion at this time in 2019. This impressive figure comes after the company spent over $4 billion on what Jeff Bezos describes as incremental COVID-19 related costs in the quarter to help keep employees safe and deliver products to customers. So switching over to Microsoft news. They are shutting down Cortana on multiple devices, including iOS and Android. Microsoft is rethinking its Cortana assistant, announcing that it will shut down the current iOS and Android apps, end Cortana support for the Harman Kardon Invoke smart speaker, and remove the original Cortana functionality from the first generation Surface headphones. This will all start in 2021. These changes are still a few months away, but it marks another big step for Microsoft in pivoting Cortana away from a Google Assistant or Alexa alternative to a more specialized productivity-focused assistant. This changes the company has already started making on the Windows 10 version of Cortana earlier this year. To that end, Microsoft also put a September 7th date on this already announced sunsetting of third-party Cortana skills for Windows. Microsoft is offering a consolation offer of a $50 gift card for Harman Kardon Invoke owners who will be most impacted by the removal of Cortana, which will effectively will turn the formerly smart device into a pricey Bluetooth speaker when the firmware update arrives next year. Owners of the original Surface headphones are also being offered a $25 gift card to make up for the missing service. So, last but not least, Apple's Macs might be getting Face ID as potentially revealed by code in macOS Big Sur. Many iPhone and iPad models let you unlock your device using Face ID, but still on Mac, you need to type in a password, set up your Apple Watch to auto-unlock your Mac, or depending on what model of Mac you do have, you can use the fingerprint with Touch ID. But code reportedly discovered in the latest beta of macOS Big Sur by 9to5 suggests that Face ID could be coming to Macs at some point in the future too. The code in the beta apparently references Apple's codename for the TrueDepth camera, according to 9to5Mac. The TrueDepth camera is what enables Face ID in Face ID capable devices like the iPhone 11 and iPad Pro, but no Macs currently available have one of these. The code reportedly also has snippets mentioning the terms face detect and bio capture, which seems to point to biometric facial recognition of some kind. If the facial recognition technology does make its way to Macs, it seems possible that it could be used for unlocking your device with augmented reality apps that map your face. Perhaps the new Zoom trend will become fun Zoom masks instead of Zoom backgrounds, which would be kind of cool. And Face ID on the Mac could come handy if you're using the next version of Safari, which is set to ship with iOS 14 and macOS Big Sur, as that new version will let you log into websites without a password just by using Touch ID or Face ID, as long as websites support this feature, however. However, it's still unclear though which Macs might be getting Face ID or when they eventually might get it, if they do at all. So we will have to wait and see if Apple eventually brings this technology to its computers. Okay, that just about wraps up this episode of Tech Weekly. Thank you to everybody that is watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to check out our Tech Weekly podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, make sure to check out ttpmerch.com to pick up some merch. And I'm Jake, the Tech Professor. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.